I was absolutely clueless about girls in every way, but when I learned about female psychology, everything changed. And there's three ways that you can use female psychology to conquer the modern dating scene, starting with what girls are actually attracted to. One summer when I was in Sweden, I was talking to this girl. She was super attractive. She was about 5'1", my perfect type, blonde hair, blue eyes, very attractive face, great body. And the conversation was going okay, and I was thinking that I had my in, all excited about where things could go, thinking I could maybe take her home tonight. And then out of nowhere, a 6'2" Viking, big muscles, very attractive face comes in and steals my girl. She instantly took to him way more. She was so giddy and excited to be talking to him, way more than she was with me. And I quickly knew that the gig was up and I lost this girl. And this is the first thing you need to understand about female psychology, which is that girls want the best option. They're always going to date guys who are higher status. They're always going to be more attractive to them. So what does this mean for you practically? It means that you need to be building your value outside of chasing girls. You can't just be constantly chasing girls. You need to be doing other things to actually become attractive to girls, and then your efforts will be paying off so much more. One of the first and most important things you need to be doing is you need to be getting in great physical condition. The attraction is going to come from your looks at first sight, and then everything else is going to take over from there, which we'll discuss in a second. So what you're going to want to do in this sense is build as attractive a body as you possibly can within your natural limits, improve your style, find something that works for you that really complements your body well. Obviously, just take care of your face, get a good haircut, look as sharp as possible, because this is the first attraction signal that girls are going to be looking for. Beyond that, the next most valuable thing that you can develop is going to be your communication. If you are an extremely dynamic communicator, if you understand female psychology, girls' nature as a whole, you are going to be able to play into that really well, and you're going to be able to communicate at a high level, being just attractive as a whole. Being someone who is just quick and witty and funny with their words is so, so important. Beyond that, you're really going to want to have a mission and purpose that drives your life. Doing this will naturally just increase your attraction tenfold. If you can think about someone who works at McDonald's versus someone who is building a business, like let's just use me for example. I'm building a coaching business, I'm building a YouTube channel, I have such big aspirations, I'm spending my days working, self-improving, doing so much with my life. Obviously, I'm going to be more attractive to girls than the guy who's just working at McDonald's who's a little bit brain dead. So that is a huge thing that girls are going to find attractive. And those are pretty much the key things that you need to be doing in order to build your value so that girls are actually going to find you attractive and be the best option in their eyes that they want to be with. But even knowing what girls are attracted to won't get you very far if you don't do this next thing. And the first time I really saw into this was when I was in a relationship at 19 years old. I dated a girl for about 3 months, and during that time, I didn't really have good hold of the relationship, and she was constantly snapping dudes. One thing I noticed that absolutely appalled me and made me sick to my stomach being in this relationship was the dudes and how aggressive they were trying to pursue her when she told them she had a boyfriend. When she said, no, I'm all right, they kept pursuing her, and on her side, which was bad, she was entertaining it, and she was, going along with some of the conversations. But it was so crazy to see how much validation she was getting. These guys were simping over her, giving her so much attention, constantly in her DMs, constantly on Snap. It was insane. And for the first time ever, I was dumbfounded. I didn't even know that this was going on. I mean, I understood a little bit, but not to the level in which I saw at that time in my life. And now, to tie this in, I want you to kind of understand something. Imagine from the age of 14 years old, let's just say hypothetically, girls were constantly validating you. Every single day you are getting snaps, you're getting DMs. No matter what you do, there's girls saying that you're perfect, you're amazing, you're so beautiful, you're the most handsome man to walk the world. They're constantly showering you with this attention. They'll take you on dates. They'll cry over you. All this stuff is going on from 14 and on. No wonder the girls are getting a little bit crazy in their head and they're becoming a little bit narcissistic. You would too if you constantly receive this validation. The few times that guys, even like myself, start to have high levels of success with girls, like sometimes when I'm in Sweden, I'm really playing the field, working hard in the dating scene, and I start to get in my head a little bit. I start to think I'm the shit, and I'm just having like decent levels of success with girls, mostly just at the clubs. But imagine you had this constant validation for your entire life and you're just getting absolutely simped over by so many dudes. It's crazy. It's crazy to think of. The human brain was not meant to take on that much attention, that much validation. Social media has absolutely fucked up girls' minds, and you need to understand this. So what are you going to practically do about this, and what is the value from this? You don't want to just be someone else. You want your attention to be valuable. So when you're first meeting a girl, she really doesn't give a fuck about your opinion in terms of her beauty or anything like that. What she wants to see is that you're a higher status male, one, which we just discussed, and two, that you're actually connecting with her on a deeper level. This is why I never lead with compliments about beauty. On very rare occasion, depending on the girl, it's okay, and it's like later on in conversation, never off the bat, never. If a girl compliments me, maybe I'll compliment her back, and that's the only exception. Later in the relationship, once a girl values your opinion, then it's a different story. Once you're sleeping with a girl or once you're dating her, then she values your opinion and she sees your opinion as this all great thing to validate her beauty, her looks, and that's a different story. But early on, you don't want to be validating a girl based off of her beauty because, like we just mentioned, there's so many guys doing this, and if you're doing this, you're putting yourself kind of in that fan standpoint. I'm telling you, all those guys who were in my ex's DMs and she was snapping, she didn't want to get with them. She didn't. She was just kind of taking that validation because she liked it and it was nice and it feels good. I mean, as you can imagine, it must feel nice to get constantly validated all day long. Of course she's going to like it, you know, especially as a young girl. So you want to really differentiate yourself. You want to be someone who sees themselves as higher status, who is not coming to this girl as a fan, who's saying, you know, in your mind, let's form a genuine connection. I want to actually get to know her. I want her to qualify herself to me because I'm such high value that I will not accept just any girl into my life. And this is why I really teach that guys focus on trying to build a genuine connection by talking to the girl about herself early on when you meet her. When you do this, you are skipping over any of that bullshit and you're just getting down to it, right? And you're just talking to her about herself, trying to get to know her, see if she's even a good partner, because you can very quickly, within 5 minutes, I can know if a girl is of decent quality or not, just based off the way that she answers some basic questions about herself and what the conversation kind of leads towards. So that's so basic, and this allows her to qualify herself to you, and you're now very much coming to her as an equal and establishing yourself as higher value just based off your communicative style, the way that you approached her, the way that you hold and carry yourself with the confidence you portray. If you watch my videos on this channel, you'll know how to do that. And it's so important that you take this stance. And here's a simple way that you can never waste time with girls who are not 100% interested in you. So about 3 years ago, I met one of the best girls that I've ever been with in my life. She was so genuine, so good-hearted, and I'll tell you why, and you can probably see it. So we met up for a date in the city. I had a car and I drove to the city and I offered to pick her up, but she was like, no, I insist, I want to bike there. I was like, okay. She biked 45 minutes to come meet me in the city, and it was cold out. This is in Sweden in the fall. So we hung out in the city, we walked around, we had great conversation, and then after, once we really had that connection, I told her I could drive her home. I said, you know, why don't we watch a movie? She agreed. We were back at her place watching a movie, and then we hooked up. This girl biked to come see me. I mean, that is crazy. A lot of times dating has become transactional, and the best way that you can combat this is to do low-cost dates, test her loyalty, see how interested she really is in you as a person. See, this girl is a perfect example. She was so interested in me that she not only came to meet me for a walk in the city, which is completely free, and she also biked 45 minutes to do it. On another time, she biked an hour and a half to come see me at my place, which is another 45 minutes bike ride from the city, and 45 minutes from the city is her place. So she biked an hour and a half to come spend the night with me. That is showing true, genuine interest. She wanted to come see me just for me. She didn't care about the dates. I don't even think we ever really went on a date. She just wanted to be around me, to spend time with me, to talk to me. These are the things that you want to look for. And the way that you can avoid dating becoming transactional, falling into the friend zone, paying for dates without it going anywhere, is by doing low-cost things, testing her loyalty, testing her interest, seeing how much she actually likes you as a person versus her just wanting to go get free dinner and go on cool dates. And that's so important that you establish this early on so that you don't waste time with girls who don't want to actually get to know you. There was one time, actually, now just a side note, where I was in Florida and I had planned a date with a girl and we were gonna go to get sushi. I was obviously gonna pay and take her out. And then something happened and we couldn't go to sushi, but I said, why don't we just meet up at the rooftop bar and we'll hang out there for a bit and maybe grab a drink or just hang out. And then she didn't want to go. And that's a really bad sign that she didn't want to just meet up with me and just, sit down and talk. Something like that is a really bad sign. And when you see something along those lines, you might as well just forget about it. Because if a girl doesn't want to just meet up with you and she doesn't want to just get to know you and talk, then there's no reason in pursuing this relationship. It is a waste of time, and you are actually saving yourself by not going on this date. Obviously, there's a fine line. Take it with a grain of salt. You're gonna have to get an intuitive feel for this. There's some girls who, will be interested in you, but they wanna, do something. They're not just gonna wanna come to your house. Don't try and think that if a girl doesn't want to come to your house that she's not interested, because then you're kind of taking it too much to the opposite way, and the girl might just think you want sex or something. So obviously take this with a fine grain of salt. But what I'm trying to say is don't be trying to think that you need to pay for the most extravagant dates. A walk in the city, getting ice cream together, doing something small is more than enough. And if a girl is not down to do that with you, then she is not the one.